Hey guys, I am on Facebook Live. I hope you are all well today. How are we all doing on this wonderful Sunday? So, as you can probably see, I want to talk to you while I'm on my daily walk with, little Sebastian, about how to get what you want super fast. Faster than maybe what you're presently doing anyway. I mean, these days I've been working with speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs, and one thing I've learned about businesses, or even doing what I do, is about learning from people who do what you want, okay? So, or learning their strategies. Ultimately, that's what I do. I look at people's strategies of what they're doing correctly to actually then install that either in myself or in my clients. So what that really means is that I get, you could say, like a mind hack as to how people are doing great things and how I can actually install that in myself. Hey Elizabeth, I hope you're very well and thank you for tuning in. So yeah, I'm really excited about kind of installing things in our mind that allow us to get results quicker and faster than ever before. And one thing I've noticed about entrepreneurs is they have a strategy of getting what they want quick, even with incredibly small resources. So many people will doubt them. Many people will think they can't achieve certain things, but they go and do it anyway. And when I've been working my group, I've been giving them advice of how to let go of their limitations. But of course, it's a perfect opportunity for me to figure out what they're doing well and to be able to replicate that in myself and in others. So do you want to learn how you can actually get things quicker than ever before? Because that's exactly what we're going to be doing, okay? So I'm going to probably be answering some questions as at the end of this, so I will be looking back at the comments, or if you give me a bit of appropriate time, then go ahead and leave those questions for me and I'll do my best to answer them. So what's the first thing that entrepreneurs, I'm just using entrepreneurs as an example because that's who I've modeled over quite a few years now, learning from a lot of big business people, and they have so much to offer when it comes to getting results quickly. So here we go. What's the first thing that I've noticed when it comes to either achieving things quickly or with the people I've actually modeled? So the first thing is our depth of vision. Now this is something I truly think is great. Now I'm going to try and find a prop to actually help us with this metaphor. Maybe I'll find one along the way. I mean, it shouldn't be so hard, but I can't see any at the moment, so we'll just go ahead anyway. So, I was going to try to find an acorn on the floor, because I think it's the perfect analogy for our depth of vision. So our depth of vision is when we think of our goal, when we think of the thing that we want to achieve, we got to understand what our depth of vision is. So some people could say, well, Joseph, my goal is to achieve $1 million, or $50,000, or $10,000, or $1,000. And the way it works is, one second. Oh, poor Sebastian's choking a little bit. Just bear with me. You all right? There we go. Sorry about this, everyone. Sebastian is... There we go. He's a lot better now. He was kind of choked on something. I don't know what. But anyway, let's get back to it. He's all well and good now. So, go on, Sebastian. So, the depth of vision of our goals is really, really important. So if it was $1,000, what's the purpose of that $1,000? What's it going to do? What's it going to allow us to do? Where's it going to take us? Because just $1,000, really, or it could be any amount, is just very one-dimensional, okay? Now, what would that get us if we had that $1,000? Or what would it get us if our goal was to be more confident or to let go of a fear of failure? What's that going to get us? And that brings me back to the acorn. So what is the depth of vision or purpose when it comes to an acorn? So you see all these trees right here. Some of them are acorn trees. Yes, Lee, my dog, is absolutely fine now. He's just wandering around. So when it comes to the depth of vision of an acorn, what's the purpose of it? Well, you could say that maybe that depth of vision is to feed the environment. So there's lots of squirrels around here, and they go for the acorns. So it's part of maybe the purpose of an acorn. One depth of vision is for feeding the environment. But then you can say, well, what else is the purpose or the depth of what an acorn can do? Now, you could be saying, well, Joseph, it could grow a tree. Okay, so it could grow a tree. That acorn could go into a wonderful tree. Now, for some people, you might think that that is a bigger depth of purpose. Rather than just feeding the environment, it can become a tree and then feed the environment again, right? So already, now that acorn, you kind of think, wow, that is a bigger depth of vision for it. And then you can go, well, what's even bigger than that? Well, maybe that acorn could produce many other acorns and then grow a forest or more trees and so on. So now, not only is it just going to feed the environment potentially, it's not only going to become an acorn tree maybe, but now it can actually become many more of that. It can reproduce that and get many more. Now, what's even further than that maybe? Well, from that, it could actually produce things that we use on a daily basis, like paper. It could be like trees. It could be literally anything. If you look around in your environment, I'm sure you're going to find things made out of wood. Now, that means that acorn, where at first it was to feed the environment, is now having so much more potential than just that. Not that one is maybe less or more than the other, but now we've actually realized its depth of vision of that acorn is actually a very big thing. So that is a great way of kind of supercharging whatever your goal is. So when you think of your goal, you have to really consider that what's the depth of vision of your goal? Where's it going to take you? What do you want to do with that? Is it just going to be $1,000 and that's it? That's that number? Is it just going to be being more confident? Because that's, as I said, very one-dimensional. We need to be able to break way beyond that to really make it meaningful for us, for our unconscious mind to get it. So when you think of that, you go, okay, well, that confidence will allow me to get into a relationship maybe, or to get a job of some sort. And then, if you go further than that, you can say, well, it's going to give me self-worth, it's going to give me love, it's going to do all these other things, and then that becomes your depth of vision. So your depth of vision becomes stronger than just being confident or just letting go of the fear of failure. And when you look at that goal, it feels far bigger and stronger. It ultimately allows you to think, this is exactly what I want. I want this now. Or there's $1,000, that $1,000 might be out of clear debt, but what would that get you? And then what would that get you? How would it have an impact on your health, being free of that debt? How would it be if you invested? How would it be if on your emotional well-being, your confidence, and so on? So when you think about getting what you want super fast, you want to be able to figure out what the depth of that vision is. How far can you take it that allows you to grow as a person, as a way of being in this world? And that becomes the way it should be. It means that we're tapping into something far more than just that. It means that goal that we wanted can actually have so much depth of vision, but it actually makes you feel more motivated, and it allows you to grow more as a person. So that's the one thing that I've really learned when it comes to working with people, is if I can expand their vision, not only it makes them more supercharged, not only does it allow you to get more of what you want quickly, it allows you to really feel more congruent with your goal because it's no longer one-dimensional. Now, the second part is, it's really about what I think of as the thinking and doing axis, okay? What does that mean? Well, on the one axis, going, say, all the way up, all the way down, is, say, your thoughts. What would that contain? Well, it could be your thinking, it could be your psychology, it could be visualization, it could be hypnosis, it could be reading. So the things which are happening inside your mind, which you're thinking, like positive intentions and everything like that. So it's all the things that you're thinking about, your psychology. Then the other aspect to that is, from the other dimension, the other axis, is the doing axis. So on one dimension we have the thinking, on the second axis we actually have the doing side. So if you could imagine, it's quite hard to explain, usually I get on the front of a board to say this, but if you could imagine going all the way up from 0 to 10 is how much you think about your goal and your positive psychology, then all the way from the bottom to the right is your doing out of 10. And you've got to ask yourself, where do you place yourself on that scale? Do you place yourself, well, Joseph, I'm always learning, I'm always visualizing and intending things and feeling gratitude, and that's a 10 out of 10. But when I think about the things that I do, it's only probably a 3 out of 10. I'm not really doing much. So we've got to think then, well, what do we have to increase? The doing side. Some people may just do, but they're not taking care of the inside, like the rehearsing exactly what you want, thinking about it and radiating it throughout your whole neurology. So not only do we have to get clear on our sense of vision and the depth of our vision, but also what are we thinking and what are we doing? How can we get that a 10 out of 10? So 10 on the thinking scale and 10 on the doing scale. Because you cannot get what you want simply by meditating, most of the time, okay? It's just the way things is. If you were just meditating for wanting more money, but not actually doing anything about that, then you're really not going to get more money. Even if you believe in the law of attraction and so on, I really believe the universe or the world will conspire in your favor when you conspire in your own, and that means doing things. If you're not taking action on your goals, then you're really not going to get anywhere. Same thing, vice versa. If you're not thinking positively, or you're not getting the right mindset and investing in your learning and applying these processes, then no matter what you do, you're going to fail, or you're going to trip up, or it's going to take you a lot longer to be able to get there. So really, I think you have to get that 10 out of 10 if possible. Now that's very hard. I know when I'm working, it's hard to get that balance, but here's the thing, right? You have to be conscious of your thoughts. You have to be conscious of the things that you're doing on a daily basis. If you're not investing that time in yourself or that time in doing and thinking, you have to be conscious of it and then start applying it, okay? So you've got to get the doing and the thinking done. So right now we've talked about the depth of your vision like an acorn. Is that acorn just to feed the environment? Is that acorn to become another tree? Is it there to become many trees? Is it there to actually produce things like books and tables and so on? Is it there to be a forest of trees? So what we have to think about there is, what's the depth of our vision? And then going to about what I just said, when it comes to your thinking and what you're doing. So if you want to lose weight, you can't just think positively about it. It will help, but you've got to do something about it, okay? Because that's just the way it is. If you want more money, you have to invest time in your mind and also in your actions. It's just the way it is. So do not get caught on just the psychology of things when the doing is a large part of what you need to do. And finally, the last 5 things I want to say to you is, if you could imagine the first thing, if you go through your depth of vision and then you think about what you're doing and what you're thinking, we have to know our outcome. So when you're doing your depth of vision, think about what it will get you and not what it won't get you, because your mind is like a GPS or a satellite navigation. When you put the satellite navigation on, the first thing you do, having turned it on, is to put in the destination. You do not put in all the places that you do not want to visit, okay? Because you'll never get to your destination. That sounds ridiculous that anyone would put in all the locations and destinations they don't want to go to. We would never do that. We'd think, Joseph, why are you being so silly? We would never do anything like that. But here's the thing. We do that with ourselves, our own internal GPS, our mind. We are sometimes focusing on what we don't want. Now, you would never do that with a GPS or a satellite navigation. You would always put in your destination. So that is why it's so important, because you don't want your mind to visit all the negativity, all the things you don't want. Think about it. When you think of anxiety, people get anxious because they're focusing on all the horrible things which could happen. Now, when I'm working with my clients, and if I were to try on their anxiety, I know what it's like because I've been there, but when I try it on, I think, wow, no wonder they're anxious, because they're focusing on all the things that they don't want. They're focusing on all the things which makes them feel bad. They're focusing on all the things of how they may look stupid or silly, or what if they fail. So that means you're putting that intention out. And like the GPS, you're going to visit it. So you have to visit your destination of choice. That's the key. It's not always easy. I'm not going to say it's always easy. But if you cultivate your mind by your thinking and your doing, and also your depth of vision, as I've explained, you will start to cultivate your minds into positive outcomes. So having got the positive outcome, we then have to, here goes into the doing again, we have to take massive and inspired action. Okay, so what does that mean? Massive action means getting that 10 out of 10 on the doing axis, whatever one it is, scale. We have to do that. 10 out of 10 if possible. If not, we're conscious of it and we keep on upping it until we move forward. But the inspired part is, you do not want to do the things you do not want to do, because you're going to self-sabotage. So if it was to say your goal is to get in a relationship and you went to, I can't even remember what they're called, when you turn up and then you take like 60 seconds or a minute with someone. It's speed dating, right? So if it really doesn't resonate with you going to speed dating, then you're not going to feel good about meeting that person. Or if you don't feel like hanging around in clubs because that's not your thing to meet someone to get in a relationship, you're going to self-sabotage and feel not good about that. So by inspired, I mean you do things which make you feel good along the way to your goal. That means you continuously progress as a person toward your goal. So not only do you know your outcome, but you take massive and inspired action, okay? Then the third part is that we have to be aware of the results that we're getting. So if you're doing something all the time, but getting the same feedback that it's not working, we either give up sometimes, or we keep on doing things. And I can't remember the quote, but I said someone doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is crazy. Something like that. So what we have to do is, when we're aware of the things which aren't working, we take it as a feedback to learn and to do something else. We learn by the doing, okay? So even if we fail, we learn from that. I don't believe there's such thing as failure if you choose to learn and grow because of it. Because that means you're just improving and evolving yourself. So you have to really get into the doing, but also being aware of the results that you're getting so you can learn and grow. So when it comes, I think Amy said, so we have to believe in what we're doing more or less, right? Well, you do have to believe in it, but here's the thing. If your goal was, say, to have $1 million, but when you think about that petrifies you, or you think it's so big and crazy that it feels so far away from you, then you're not going to have the belief there. So what we have to do is break that down into smaller steps if need be. So not all the time will you actually have the belief in getting the goals. If I work with someone and their goal was to be good enough, but they didn't believe they were good enough, the chances are they might not believe that's possible, because it's like that they feel like it's their identity. So what we have to do in terms of goals, we have to break things down. So we take a massive inspired action, we're aware of the results that we're getting, as well as sometimes breaking down the goal that we think, actually, I can't get $1 million, but maybe if I focus this month increasing it by my turnover, my revenue by $500 or £500, I can't remember what currency I was using just then, that seems far more likely, and that builds belief. So going back to Amy's question, we don't have to believe in what we're doing, but it's a great idea, but we can cultivate our mind to actually start believing it by breaking things down. So, as I said, like a GPS, we put in the destination that we want to go. Then we take massive inspired action, and then we get awareness of what we're doing. That means we can learn and grow and really get better and better. There's no such thing as failure. Then, when it comes to the next part is, we have to be aware of those results to do something different. So once we're aware, we have to then develop the flexibility in what we're doing. So if it's not working, we have to think of ourselves as being flexible. I know of people who have said that in business, despite the economy not being good, in their mind, they said they refused to pay attention to the economy. They refused to buy into it. Now, on paper, you think, well, that's crazy. You've got to pay attention. But their belief system was that they'll find a way, whatever happens, to make their business to continue to grow. So you can see their flexibility in their mind. They're refusing to pay attention to what other people are saying. They're refusing, and they're adapting their behaviors to be able to seek out ways. So we have to be flexible. So when we know that something's not working, we learn from it and we actually become flexible. And then finally, and that ties right back to the thinking and doing axis, and try to link all these things together for you, is we have to operate from that psychology and physiology of excellence. That means we get the right thoughts down. We get that thinking again, 10 out of 10. So to sum up this whole conversation, we've got to the 23-minute mark again, which always happens. That's so crazy. We have to think about the depth of our vision like an acorn. What's the depth of vision of your goal? Is it to, like an acorn, to just feed the environment? Is it to be another tree? Is it to grow many trees like a forest? Is it to be able to reproduce into other things like books and so on? If you think about it, your goal, if it was $1,000, what would that $1,000 get you? What would it allow you to do? What will allow you to get better in? If it's about being more confident, what will that allow you to do? And expand upon it, and get more of a depth of vision. So when you think about it, it supercharges you. The other part was the thinking and doing. 10 out of 10, we've got to get the thinking out there. We've got to keep on thinking in the right way in our thoughts, our beliefs, our values. And then on the other scale, we have to take action, massive inspired action. And that led us straight to knowing your outcome like a GPS, put in your destination, not all the locations you don't want to go. So think about your goal exactly how you want it to be. And then it was to take massive inspired action, the doing axis again, and then to be aware of our results. Once we're aware, we can learn and grow, and then have the flexibility to be able to adjust ourselves, to move around in a way that we continue to grow. And then finally, it was to operate from a psychology and physiology of excellence. That is what I've learned when it comes to working with my group and like entrepreneurs and so on. They have that inbuilt in them. They might not be completely free, because that's why they're working with me, to let go of their limitations and let go of things outside of business. But that is what I've learned over the years working with very successful people. Okay, so does that make sense, everybody? Does that give you an idea of how you can get things quicker? Because I can promise you, if you carry out exactly what I said, you're going to get to your result, whether it be in your mind or in your body, or whether it be in physical reality, far quicker by doing that. So I hope you had fun with that. So If you have any questions, I'll spend the next 5 minutes before I go and take Sebastian back. I'll answer a few quick questions for you. So it's quite hard to see the questions on the app scrolling back. So here we go. So Janelle says, it's given me the positive vibration boost I've needed. Well, that's a great question and answer right there. That's perfect. When you think about vibration, we are all energy, which means we're all vibrating, which means if we have to tune into what we want, and that goes into the GPS analogy. So Liz says, I think I'm doing this, trying to build confidence by doing things, but then I can't switch off afterwards, and I create something that's not even there, if that makes sense. I think I'm doing this, trying to build confidence by doing things, but then I can't switch off afterwards. I create something that's not even there, if that makes sense. Sorry, Liz, I don't know if it's just my mind, but I can't quite get that. So if you go ahead and just let me know a bit more detail about that, I will do my best to answer it in a second. Sorry, I'm trying to understand that in a way which I can give you the most appropriate answer. So sometimes I'm a little bit slow. I need a few more details there. Because I think it's great that you're doing things and you're building your confidence in doing things, but I get this I can't switch off afterwards and I create something. So go ahead and just give me a little bit more information and I'll get back to that one. And in the meantime, if there's any more questions, go ahead and let me know, guys. I hope you're having a lot of fun. Wow, I've just looked at the viewers and we've got 340... Whoops. 1 second. We've got... The dogs are colliding. Come on, Batty. So, sorry about that. Yeah, we've got 350 viewers now. I actually went up because of that incident. So, that is awesome that people are tuning in live here. How's the weather here? The weather is getting a lot cooler. I think it's about 73. But I'm in Texas, and in the summer it goes up to like 100. But it's pretty good. I'm in my t-shirt now, so that's all good. So, Gloria says, I can't really create for a while. I do not know how to put myself in a vortex, even if I know the steps. With that one, Gloria, you have to just give me a bit more information, like what specifically, so I can actually give you the answer. So, I can't really create for a while. I do not know how to put myself in a vortex, even if I know the steps. So, what I would do, if I'm trying to just get that clear in my mind, it could be, and this is great for everyone, by the way, go ahead and visualize in your mind before you wake up in the morning how you want your day to go. And then, at the end of the day, learn from your day to grow. That means you're not only pre-teaching your unconscious mind to get better throughout the day, you're telling it how you want to be, but also in the evening, you're getting your unconscious mind to learn from this. So I hope that makes sense. That could answer the question. Gloria says, I'm not able to manifest. Well, what I would do there is carry out what I said on the coaching side of this, and I really think you'll get there. Now, when it comes to that, I think that the doing side is really important, and investing in our time to get better as a person, to learn and grow. If we have a goal, I really suggest investing at least half hour to an hour every day in learning to get what you want, and then have the visualization and all those manifestation things. Whatever your thing is, I'm completely cool with whatever, but I think we need to back it up with the doing and investing in time and learning. So, I think that's about it now. We're almost at 30 minutes. I hope you've had fun. So I will probably leave it there. Elizabeth says, your broadcast has upped my spirits. Your voice from hypnosis clicks in my brain. That's awesome. Thank you ever so much. I appreciate that. And always remember, guys, you're the person who does this. Sometimes you do need to need help and support. We all do. I know I do. I have people around me who I ask questions and books and so on. That's just the way it is. So, okay, Liz actually came back to us. So, basically, I make a decision in order to improve my confidence and keep thinking and thinking about it, and it becomes self-critical about how I could do things better. sometimes jump to the negative first. Okay, that really, if it is about the negative, if you recall what I just said when it comes to learning from the end of the day, you ask yourself this question: what can I learn from this which once learned will allow me to feel better and improve as a person? Remember, it's like the sat nav metaphor, okay? When we think about it, we've got to put our destination in the right place. So I think working on the depth of vision, that increases our energy around things. When we think about putting on our destination, we're going to get far better and stronger. Awesome, Liz. I hope that helped. Great. Pleased to hear that. So the other thing what we can do there, as I said, the learning in the evening, learn from our day in the positive, and then in the morning as we wake up, we go ahead and visualize our day. Now that's awesome. It's like you're telling your unconscious mind what to do. It's like the sat-nav navigation again. You're telling it where you want it to go, how you want to act and react, and in time, it will begin to do that. Awesome. Thanks, Liz. So, I think with that, it's my time to get going. I'm so pleased that we've hit our biggest live numbers so far, 354. So I'm so pleased that you're tuning in, and because it's been growing, I will continue to do these. Hopefully I'll do one tomorrow as well. I'm trying to get 3 or 4 in a week. So have a wonderful day, guys, and I will speak to you very soon. I'll speak to you very soon. Many thanks, and goodbye.